So basically, one of the main differences between a novice producer and a professional producer is automation. Automation can transform like a boring idea into an evolving landscape full of awesomeness. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use automation in Ableton and how to automate filters like the pros. Alright, so first up, what actually is automation? Now, automation is when we make Ableton automatically perform a task by itself. Maybe you want Ableton to increase the volume over a certain amount of time. Maybe you want it to increase the pitch over that same amount of time. Now, the cool thing about this is you can make Ableton basically do an infinite number of things at the same time. So before we get into it, let's listen to what this song sounds like with no automation. So you can hear it sounds okay, but it just sounds stagnant the whole way. So in order to fix this and make it sound so much more professional, if we drag an auto filter from audio effects, auto filter, drag it onto the track that you want to automate. In this example, I've put it on this group track here because I want to automate all of these layers as one. And if you don't know how to use an auto filter, I highly recommend you check out my full tutorial, which is going to pop up on the screen now, because once you understand how to use filters, it will change the game for you, trust me. So as you can see, this section here, this is the intro, and then this section is where the verse starts. And using filters to transition between parts like this can really make your song sound more professional. So the best way to do this, I find, is by just right-clicking on this filter and going Show Automation. Now, as you can see up here, we have a red line. Now, this red line represents where this control is. So I want this filter to start low, but then open right up when it gets to the verse. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure it's completely open. I'm going to click right on that transition point so it stays anchored there. Then I'm going to click on the start and then drag it down to where I think it should start. Now I'm just going to guess and then have a listen. You can already hear how much better that sounds. Now, you don't just have to do one straight line like this though. You can even add some ups and downs in here to make it even more interesting. So what I like to do is I like to maybe just do a little bit up there, come down a little bit, and then maybe sort of just work my way back up like this. And one other thing you can do is if you hold Alt and then click and drag up and down, you can see you get a curve in the line now. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a curve there, maybe put a little bit of a curve over here as well. Let's have a listen to that. That's sounding a lot better already. Now, one thing, if you click on this and you go to change your frequency from this control, you'll notice that your automation line is grayed out, and when you play it, you don't get any automation. Now, to get the automation to work again, simply click on this orange arrow up here, and now you can see your automation is active. Now, you saw how good the transition could be from the intro into the verse. You can use this same transition technique on basically any transition of your song. I'm pretty sure I've got it on the build to transition in between the build and the chorus, and I've also got it from the chorus to transition from the chorus back into the verse again. So what I like to do is I like to put a filter on the chorus, and I like to filter this one out. So if we go right click, show automation, click like this, and then lower it down like that. The reason I have started the filter going down like this, but then I've gone back up again, is because I don't want the filter to be active on the next drop. If I leave it like this, you can see I'm filtering out all of those high frequencies for the next drop. So I'm going to push it back up again in order to make that not happen. Another way that you can do that is by right clicking on your activation button, go show automation, and only activate the filter to be on in this section of the track. So we've got this one filtered going down, and now what I want to do is I want to filter this verse again to go back up like we did at the start. Let's listen to this now. So you can see it blended from the chorus into the verse with a nice smooth transition. So another really cool way that you can use filter automation is for creative sound design ideas. Now I like to use filters on my drops to kind of make them feel bigger and have a lot of movement to them. So in this example, I'm going to show you without the filter automation. You can hear it kind of sounds a bit boring, yeah? But what I can do is you can do the same thing, right click, show automation, and you can see that filter lane pop up here. And what we can do is we can anchor point where we want it to stay and then come back to the start again and lower it down, and let's see what that sounds like. So you can hear it wind into it. Now you can do this like as many places as you want through the drop and get pretty creative. So for this example, this is what I'm starting with. You can hear it just sounds pretty boring, pretty stagnant again. So another option, you can drag an auto filter on, do the same thing, find a nice sweet spot, right click, show automation, and you can come into the track here and you can start adding some dot points in here and then start adding some automation like this. If you want to duplicate a automation, you can just highlight it and then Control D, and that will duplicate it like anything else. If you have automation disabled, it will only duplicate the MIDI rather than the automation. So let's listen to this now. You can hear I'm starting to get a wobble in it there, but if I don't want to use this auto filter, I can actually come into the synth itself, and in every synth there is a filter. So if I turn this on, you can see I've got the filter set like this. Let's listen to it. So I want to add a nice wobble in here. So if we open this up and we click on this filter cutoff, you can see that that just changed the filter cutoff. Now, if I come into this automation here, we can start doing some automation just like we did with the auto filter. That's a little bit too high. You can highlight all of that and drag it all down together. That sounds better. Let's duplicate that over to here. And I think what I'm going to do is shorten these ones up a little bit and duplicate these like that. Another thing you can do is even drag some of these down individually and move them around a little bit to give it some nice roll and character. Now I recommend you check out my full tutorial on how to automate like this. It is just for wobbles and things like that, so yeah, check it out. Alright, so to summarize, the main reasons that you'll use automation and filter automation is to help transition in between parts of the song. You can transition from your intro into your verse, from your verse or your build into your chorus, from your chorus back into your verse again. It's basically endless and perfect when it comes to transitions. And the second most used filter automation effect is to create some really cool and interesting sounds. Maybe you want some wobbles, maybe you want to open up the filter when you drop hits, things like that. So I really hope this video has helped, and I hope it helps you just become a better producer. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. If you have a question, leave it in the comments below. Or if you want a whole bunch of free stuff, you can visit my website at offthebeat.com.